Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to make this granny square using this flower puff pattern. I'll also leave links in the description box below on where you can find the yarn and the crochet hook. I'll be using a 3.5mm crochet hook for this tutorial today. So we're going to get started by making a slip knot, and you can do this in whichever way is most comfortable for you. Once you've completed your slip knot, go ahead and make 4 chain stitches. To make a chain stitch, simply yarn over and pull through for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now once you've completed your 4 chain stitches, we're going to insert our crochet hook in the first chain stitch that we did. And then we're going to complete a slip stitch. To do that, yarn over and pull it through. And then we're going to pull it through the loop that would have already been on the hook. Now that's going to create a circle of some sort. You'll see the space in the middle there of our circle. We're going to insert our hook through the middle, and we're going to make a single crochet. To make a single crochet, simply pull up a loop. With 2 loops on the hook, we yarn over and pull through both loops. Now I want to also get a marker and place that on my first single crochet so that I know where the round begins. Now we've done 1 single crochet so far, but we want to do 8 single crochets in total. So again, to do a single crochet, simply insert your hook through the middle of the circle there and pull up a loop with 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. So that's the second one that we did. We need to do 6 more. So we've done 1, 2. This would be our third. So 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now you can always pull on the tail of your yarn here. If you see like the donut or the hole in the middle of your circle here becoming wider, you can always pull on the tail to reduce the size of that, like that. And now that I've done 8 single crochets in total, I'm going to remove my marker. And on that stitch where our marker was, I'm going to be doing a slip stitch to close out the round. So I'll insert my hook under the stitch, pulling through a loop, and then I'm going to pull that through the loop that would have already been on our hook. Now we're going to start making the puffs. So these are the puff stitches that you would see here. And to do that, go ahead and start by chaining 2, 1, 2. Now this chain 2 stitch won't count as a stitch, but it will help in giving us the height to create the puff stitch that you see here. Now to make our puff stitch, we yarn over, and in the first stitch of the row, which is here, we're going to insert our hook under that first stitch and pull up a loop. So that's 1. We need to do that motion 4 times. So yarn over, insert into the stitch and pull up a loop for 2. Yarn over, insert and pull up a loop for 3. Yarn over, insert and pull up a loop for 4. And once we have all the loops on our hook, we yarn over and we're going to pull the yarn through all the loops. And now we're going to close out our puff by chaining 1. So now you'll see our puff stitch there. And then we chain 1 before starting our other puff. and we're going to do that in the next stitch. So in total we should have 8 puffs in total. So again, to do our puff stitch, we yarn over, we're going to insert our hook in our next stitch and pull up a loop. We're going to pull that all the way up. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And once we've done that 4 times, we yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, and then we chain 1 to close our puff, and then we chain 1 before starting the next puff stitch. Now we're going to continue that in each stitch going all the way around. So yarn over, pull up for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we yarn over, pull through all the loops on our hook, chain 1 to close the puff, and chain 1. So I've done 3 puffs so far. We want to do 8 puffs in total. So I just closed out my last puff. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 puffs. Now chain 1, and then we're going to cut our yarn and pull it all the way through. Now taking a crochet needle, I'm going to insert my yarn inside the needle. I'm going to close out the round here. I'm going to insert it into the first stitch, which is here. So that's the stitch right on top of our first puff. I'm going to insert my needle under the stitch, pulling it through. And we want to make the stitch a similar size to all the other stitches. And then I'm going to insert that into my chain 1 stitch, which is here. As well as through the stitches here in the back. And then I'm just going to pull that all the way through. And you can pull on the tail of the yarn here to adjust the size of the loop. So now let's go about making the square. Now taking another colored yarn, you can just go ahead and wrap it around your index finger like so. And we're going to go ahead and insert our crochet hook through the middle or in between puffs. So like this. And we're just going to yarn over and pull up a loop and complete 2 chains. So that's 1, 2. And then in that same space, we're going to do a double crochet. Now to do a double crochet, simply yarn over, insert, and pull up a loop. And now we'll have 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Now on top of that second stitch, on top of the double crochet that we just did, I'm going to place a marker because that's where we'll be closing out our round. And then we're going to jump into doing another double crochet right in between our next puffs. So right here. So we yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. I'm going to do one more. Now in between these puffs, we're going to make our corner for our square, which means that I'll add 2 chains at this point. So go ahead and chain 2, 1, 2, and then in that same space where we just did our 2 double crochets, we're going to do 2 more double crochets. So yarn over and pull up a loop. That's 1. and that's 2. So this will work as our first corner, and in the stitch beside it we'll do the same as we did in our first set, where we'll do 2 double crochets only. So that's 1 and 2, and in between puffs, so in the next set, which falls here, we're going to make a corner stitch. So that's 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and because this is a current corner, we'll be doing 2 chain stitches, 1, 2, and then 2 more double crochets in that same space. 1, 2. So this pretty much represents how we'll be doing the set going around. We'll do 2 double crochets, and then we'll make a corner, which is 2 double crochets with 2 chain stitches and then 2 more double crochets. And then we'll do a regular set of just 2 double crochets and a corner, and we'll repeat that 2 more times. So we'll do a regular set here of just 2 double crochets, and in the space beside it, so in between these 2 puffs, we'll be making a corner stitch, which again is 2 double crochets followed by 2 chain stitches. So that's 1, 2, and then 2 more double crochets in that space. And for our final set, we do 2 double crochets here. So 1, 2, and in between the stitches and in between the puffs that follows that, we'll do a corner. So again, that's 1, 2 double crochets followed by 2 chain stitches and then 2 more double crochets into that space. Now once we've done our last corner, you can go ahead and remove your marker. And in the stitch where our marker was, we're going to do a slip stitch to close. So just pull through a loop and pull that through the loop already on the hook. And you can already see the formation of the square here. Now we're going to do our final row. And we're going to start by doing a slip stitch, 1 here and 1 here as well. And then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. And in that space in between sets, we're going to do a double crochet. I'm going to place a marker on top of that double crochet because again, this is where we'll be closing out our round. And then we're just going to jump here. So you'll see where we have 4 corners. But we also have spaces that's created that's not a corner. In those spaces, we'll just do 2 double crochets, but where we have a corner, we're going to do the pattern for the corner. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to do the pattern for the corner here because this is the first corner we've come up on. And again, the pattern for that is the same as the last row where we did 2 double crochets, 2 chain stitches, and then 2 more double crochets into that same space. Now we're going to be working our stitches in between sets. So right here and here and here. These, however, are not corner stitches. So in those sets, we'll only be doing 2 double crochets. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and now we've come upon our second corner, and again where we have a corner we do the pattern for our corner stitch. So I'm going to do 2 double crochets, 1, 2. I'm going to follow that with 2 chain stitches and then 2 more double crochets. So that's pretty much the pattern that I'll use going around. Where there isn't a corner like here and here, I'll only put 2 double crochets there. But where we do have a corner, we'll do 2 double crochets, 2 chain stitches, and 2 double crochets inside our corner stitches. So go ahead and complete that, going all the way around. Now once you've gotten to your last set, so I did my last set here, go ahead and make your loop larger, and I'm going to cut my yarn, pulling it all the way through. I'm also going to remove my marker, and taking my crochet needle, I'm just going to go ahead and thread the needle with my yarn, and I'm going to close out the round here. So we want this stitch to appear the same in size as all the other stitches. So once I pull it under the stitch, I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to insert it into our last stitch, which is here, as well as through the back bump, which falls there, as well as the other stitches here in the back. And then I'm just going to pull on the tail to control the size of the stitch. So we would have done this technique before on our puff, and we're going to do it here as well to close out the round. You can also use your crochet needle to pull on the stitch just to make it appear more natural. And that's pretty much it. So this is the final look for our granny square. If you found this tutorial helpful, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so as yet. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!